Welcome back guys, Harry here, known as Tradesharpe, and in this video we're going to look at how to trade with the banks, not like the banks. What you see on the screen here is what people claim to be trading like a bank, but to be honest, you can't really trade like a bank. We are retail traders, it is not possible to do so, but what you can do is trade with the bank, and I'm going to show you how to do that and what strategy I use to trade with the banks. And if that's interesting, definitely advise you to watch this video. Fact is, guys, we will never ever be able to trade like a bank. We are not banks, we are retail traders, but retail traders can have an edge if they treat the market as a retail trader. People claim that trade like the bank, trade like a bank, but you can't. No matter what concept you use, it's all derived of price action. No matter how you look at price action, that is what's going to make you a profitable trader, because what we have on the screen right here is we have structure and candles, but more importantly candles, right? Candles form the structure, and that's what you have to learn. You have to learn how to read price action, because as a retail trader, that is how you're going to progress. No matter what, you will not be able to trade like a bank, because banks, they have, and institutions more importantly, they have algorithms that they paid millions of dollars for. And fact is, with those algorithms, you will never be able to keep up with them or trade like them. And if you did, then you wouldn't be sitting here watching a video, or there would be a lot more wealthy people in the world. So obviously that's not the case, but what we can do is we can trade with them, right? And how do we trade with them? From the candles, what we see on the screen. So I trade using something called price action, right? And I use simple price action, simply using key, zones on the chart and using candles and see how they form to be able to trade, right? And that's the beauty of simple price action. It keeps things simple, keeps me in and out of the trade. And I, as in the title of this video, as I like to call it, it allows me to trade with the banks, right? So you want to trade with the momentum. That is what I mean by that. So I'm going to show you how to do that. It's a few easy steps, and it's going to be an introduction. Of course, guys, can you please support the YouTube algorithm? And if you found this place, welcome to Tradesharpe channel. And if you want to be a part, please subscribe, because it really does help, and like this video. I want to hit an all-time high today. If we could get 100 likes, that would really make my day. I hate saying this, but it just really helps, and you don't understand how much I appreciate it. So if you could do that, that would be great. And with that being said, now we're going to get into some important stuff and get on how to actually do it. So the important thing when you come to the charts is you have to understand where you are in the charts. There's a reason why every day we print a new daily candle, right? It's because the daily candle is actually giving us a lot of information. And that information is very valuable, because trading with the banks, you have to know what direction do they want to push the market, right? Obviously here they're pushing the market down, but we could have easily found that from daily candle closures. Daily candle closures, weekly candle closures will give us a bias as to where price wants to go during that day and during that week. So simply what you basically do is you look at how the weekly candle closes. Obviously we had a bearish candle closure here. This bearish candle closure here did break the lows. Breaking the lows here is telling us that we have on structure, because if you draw structure like this, and this is what people don't understand on higher time frames, is that this is a high, this is a lower high, this is a low, and this is a lower low. You're basically making a downtrend. Can you see that? So high, same as this, lower high, same as this, low, here's a low, and then this would be a lower low, right? So here's your lower low. This is a downtrend, right? So price is going towards the downside. And this is what people have to understand, is that from this weekly candle closures, we can obviously see that price wants to go towards the downside. Now, what do we have towards the left? Well, we had this resistance here, right? So let's clear this up. We had this resistance here, and that's why price struggled at this area, right? But after that resistance, we had a clean shot towards the downside. So once breaking it, you could see it was a clean move down. But now we don't trade on weekly time frames. I'm an intraday trader. I look to be in a trade and then be out. So what more information can we find? That is where we go on to the daily time frame. And when we can see candles are breaking structure, closing bearish here, that's telling us that, right, there is bearish momentum in the chart and price wants to continue towards the downside. This is just downward structure, right? So once we get bearish closures below ranges and above ranges, we can see how nicely this starts to form, right? We can see how nicely structure starts to form. And this is what information that we're getting, and this is why we don't have to trade like a bank, but we're trading with them. They're telling us price is going to the downside. How do we know? Well, obviously, price broke below here. gave us a shot down. Here's your trade in this candle. Then came up, retest, rejected, broke the low, continued down. So when we know that and we can see that structure is obviously bearish, we're looking for sells and we stick to that bias. We don't try buy, we don't try, buy in a downtrend, right? It's very clear that the market wants to head down. So all we have to do is look for sells. But since we're intraday traders, all we have to do is now we move on to the 4-hour time frame, and this is where I'm going to show you guys how to trade on the lower time frames and how to get those entries. Because great, now we know the direction, so we know which way price wants to move. Now we need to know what is your trading session candle doing. So the daily is going to give you heavily bias of where price wants to go during that day, right? Obviously here price closing bearish, here below this range price wants to continue down, right? So once we know that, we need to find our session candle. So daily is great for knowing the bias of that day. The session is going to be your 4-hour, right? So this is what if obviously 4-hour candles printing bullish here, that's telling you, okay, for that session price wants to continue up a little bit. Once we printed a bearish candle here and broke the lows on a downtrend on the higher time frames, you can see that's where you get the move. Then the biggest mistake people make is that they say, okay, why don't we take buys and sells? Well, you tell me, guys, you tell me. Do you want to be in this move? Let's say you got it from here, which is a 60 pip move, or do you want to catch with the direction and catch a 300 pip move here? It's your choice, and that's the point. So once you find your candle in your session, which is going to be the 4-hour candle. So let's say I was trading London session here, right? London session would start my time at about 12 o'clock. So let's take it from this day here, right? So around this area right here, right? So let's go on the 1 hour. So it was a bullish candle at that point here. You could see price came up to the zone. As soon as I saw price breaking structure like so we're in a downtrend, I'm only looking for sells. So obviously this is going to give you the clean shot because price broke structure. This was from this candle, and you can easily look for trades on the lower time frame in this area, right? You can see how quickly price started, and as soon as price broke the second structure, which is the last line, that's when it gave you a clean shot. But you can see here price closed at this next candle closing below, having some problems at this area because this is an area of interest, right? But as price forms some sort of resistance here, that's your easiest trade towards the downside. So now that all of the explaining is done, how are you guys going to apply this? Because that's what is important. How are you going to apply your price action, right? So step number one is that you have to go on your daily time frame and find what direction is the market going to be, right? So that's step number one. Obviously, daily candle closing bearish means the market wants to head down. Now, many people would have got trapped in here. And this is the biggest mistake people make, is that they'll get trapped in this and they'll say, oh, this is the institution stopping me out, blah, blah, blah. No, trend is bearish. This simple retest, beautiful retest. That's all it was. Retest to continue down. That's all it was doing. And this is where people get caught out, is that they're trying to trade every single day and take buys during this day, but getting, hammered in the market, right? They're seeing here, all right, price closing back in this range, price should continue up bullish, boom, hammered. Everyone who was taking buys from here, taking buys here, everyone got destroyed. But all this was on a higher time frame retest towards this area. So find the direction the market's going. Secondly, find your session candle. So if you trade New York, if you trade London, look at how the 4-hour candle closed, or how the 4-hour candle is forming. Do we have bearish structure or bullish structure? If it's bearish structure, that means with the bearish higher time frames, such as this, right? So we'll rewind to this area here. All right, so let's go next candle here. So we can see we're in a range here. Let's remove these drawings here. So this would be an easy way. So now our session candle is telling us price is closing below the range. We obviously have a support here we need to take care of. We can see that's a rejection, but this 4-hour candle here is doing what all of these candles could not do. This was a difficult week on GJ, to be honest. So now we have to look on the lower time frames. What type of trade? We could take this trade, but is the risk to reward worth it? This is 25 pips for 25 pips, So let's see lower time frame. Lower time frame, we have a lot of mess here. But 1 hour time frame looks good to continue down. So Let's go next candle. So exactly, it came down as expected, and there's, here's your move, right? And obviously this was a difficult week, very wicky area, but that was your one-to-one. You can see it's all started from your 4-hour time frame closing below this zone. Once that happened, this 4-hour candle is showing you that it's bearish price action. Many people would have taken buys in this zone here because of, look at the reactions we've had in the past. All wicks, they would have said this is going to be a great area to take buys, but they're not concentrating on the higher time frame, right? Higher time frame bearish, and look what the 4-hour candle did, and that's price action. And then people say, oh look, this is the bank stopping me out or something. It's not. This is just clear information given to you on the charts. And let's see how this went. I think this will do a retracement where you can have where you can get a second chance to get in. So here's a retracement that you can see, right? So a retracement might give you another opportunity, but look at the time here. We're coming into late Asian session, so it will probably range. That's probably what's going to happen here. Let's see on the lower time frames if it did give an entry. See, it's rejecting this zone. This is a mistake people will make as well. They'll try to take sells here, but this is a rejection, right? So you'll probably fill this zone and then probably continue up, right? So yeah, it might continue down. I might be wrong, but yeah, here's your rejection, right? So this is obviously clear rejection here towards the upside, and now we start a range. And this is why I told you in Asian session, very common price action in Asian session here. Here's your range, breakout. Now we get a deeper retest. You see, now it's just creating a very messy range, and then it gives you can see here, if we draw a box or something, that is your range like this, right? So you can see and there's your breakout of the range. So here's your next move coming. So 22 pips, here's your next move coming, but you have to make sure, what time is it? 6:30. This can easily be a fake out. Here's you can see 6:30, really rough time. So obviously then you eventually got the move. I really like this setup. What time is this? Yeah, it's a bit early, but when price comes up, look at this. This is a very nice setup. Price comes up, forms some sort of resistance, same as on the daily time frame we were looking at the beginning of the video, and then you see a candle closing below this zone. Next, to take the trade. Very simple. Look, candle closing below. So we know that we're bearish. 4 hours bearish, daily's bearish. Go with the trend. Take your entry here. Stop loss, since it was early, you need to keep it above the structure. This is showing you it's rejecting that structure. It's done with that zone. It is done with that zone. Here's your rejection of the zone. Keep it above the structure. 8.5 pips here. You get the close below saying, I am ready to continue down. It messes about for a little bit, and then you get the big drop like no tomorrow. Easy 40 pip move here on a downtrend. And this is the power of trading with the trend. Is you don't have to catch these rubbish upside moves. You catch this, boom, 2 30-minute candles. In an hour, you've made 40 pips. No holding, long drawdown, quick moves with the momentum. And the momentum comes when the banks open, during times of volume, right? And this is the last segment of the video, which is trading when there's volume. And it's very simple, guys. Trade during the sessions. Trade when there's volume. Don't be trading every single session in a day. Pick one session, stick to it. Look how the volume moves. Look how candles move during that session. Perfect it, and then you'll see your trading excel. Just thought I'll make this quick video today, just explaining how I use price action and different ways to look at it. Hope this helps. Hope you saw what I mean by trading with the direction, with the trend, with the volume, and with what price action tells you. So hope this helps. For detailed videos, please check some of the cards and stuff like that. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Take care, Tradesharpe, and until next time, peace.